What's up, everybody? I'm Seriously Focused Johnnie SF Johnnie. You are now tuned into Difficult People Chronicles. Welcome. Today's episode is the last episode for the month, and it's dealing with Your Money Matters. So this episode is called Your Money Matters, False Investments. In the financial world, false investments is an inaccurate representation of a financial situation. I called this episode False Investments, and my definition I'm highlighting in this episode the inaccurate representation of a person's position. In this life, you are meant to do some things and be on a certain level. What is the reason why you are not on that particular level? And I don't want you to look at other people that's in a position that you want, because then that would be competing. I'm talking about being in your own lane and being on a particular level. Now take out all the excuses and then say, why am I not on that particular level? Example, let's say you can't afford to go back to school for right now, and you cannot use excuses. What's stopping you? What's your next move? Is it a free course, seminars, trainings, volunteering in the field that you're trying to learn about? What's your next move? When I was younger, I had the ideas, but never had faith in all of them. I didn't know that I was in a spiritual warfare at a young age, meaning that there was a lot of things that was going on as I thought about it. And I realized from all the stuff that I've learned up until this point that back then I was in a spiritual warfare battle. So at that time, back then, I didn't push myself as much. I thought everything was just supposed to happen the way it was, and it was what it was. So I used to invest in other people because it was easier. I learned anything outside of myself was easier than dealing within or whatever situation was going on at that time. I couldn't keep my tutoring business afloat because I was busy letting distractions stop me, and I didn't have the right people around me. Plus, I was trying to run away from home because my home life wasn't the best. And I didn't know what I know now. What I should have done was take my business to the next level. So my priorities was just all jacked up. Later on, I always told people, like years later, I was writing a book, because I was. But the truth be told, every time I thought about things in my past, I stopped. So I would stop, I would pick it back up, I would put it back down, I would have like a certain amount of pages, and then I would just shove it somewhere in my desk, not being motivated. And I didn't know the hows again. So all my starts had no end, meaning that I had projects that were just laying all over the place, nothing completed. I didn't follow through on my investment myself. So I stacked ideas in piles. When I looked at it years later in storage, I realized I had something. I just had to invest in myself and keep going until I found it or ran into it. People thought that my ideas, my projects was because I didn't finish it because I didn't have the money, but that wasn't it. So in a nutshell, my investment in myself was an inaccurate representation of my position. Why? Because I was lying to myself. The lie said I was doing it when I wasn't. I wasn't motivated. And I told people that whatever I was doing was a piece of cake and it would be done. As years passed, the champion inside of me was dying slowly. So there was a lie, there was no effort, there was judgment, and there were those who said I couldn't. So I was afraid to fail. And then there was rejection. So how did I get rid of the excuses to get to the point where I'm at now? I threw them out. I remember this guy, we were just friends, and every time somebody would say something negative to him, and I'm laughing because I could just picture it, he would shake his head like, no, no, no. And I was like, I would look at him like, is there something wrong with you? Like, did you need to tell me? Like, he would always do that. Every time somebody say something negative, like I would watch him, like people would say something negative to him, like to kill his confidence, or just being a hater, he would just shake his head like he was throwing out. And I never questioned him on it. I never really said it to him. But I realized what he was doing. He was throwing out all that hate, so it wouldn't affect his mental. So what I did one day was I literally visualized me throwing out excuses, like as if it was on a piece of paper and I could see myself throwing it out. I do that with people too. I visualize people's names on a piece of paper and I can see myself throwing it out. So it's easy for me to get over certain people, believe it or not. And then what I did was I turned around and I asked myself, I said to myself, what else am I doing? What else is occupying my time? And then last, what I did was I just said, I need to ignore the wrong advice from those that add no value to my life. Because sometimes you get sick and tired of being tired. And sometimes you get sick and tired of yourself for allowing certain things to go down. Everything boiled down to one key ingredient: benefit. Every investment reaps a benefit of some sort. By investing in yourself, a number of things happen, but I'm going to give you 6, my top 6. Number 1, your confidence level goes up. Number 2, you can help make a difference in the world. Even if it's just little old you can make a difference in the world. Number 3, you become more skilled in whatever field. Number 4, you can become a benefit to a cause and help close the gap to whatever. Number 5, when you stay rooted in God and you walk in the path that He has for you, doing your assignment, He will reward you. And whatever you do from that assignment, there's this feeling that you get off of it, like a sense of peace. Because I tell you this, when you are working in an environment that is not a part of God's assignment, there's no peace. I mean, some of you all can really understand what I'm saying. That's like being in a job where it's just drama every day, nonsense going on, no peace. But when you are doing what God wants you to do, there's a sense of peace. And lastly, God will make you so unique, you become advanced and irreplaceable. You ever met a person that told you what they intended to do, like move out of their parents' house and make all sorts of moves once they do that, but their intention lasted for years? You ever met a person that told you they were going to get married to a particular person and build an empire, but they waited in vain to make a move? The relationship didn't last and the same person moved on to another lifeless relationship instead of going to God in prayer? You ever met a person that always expected to become rich off of free stuff from other people and never did anything with it but hoarded and lie to themselves and other people about all these things they were going to do? You ever met a person that had so many excuses for not moving forward and not focusing, but they mad because you are investing in you, so their energy is wasted trying to stop you, not realizing who God is? Psalms 110 verse 1. Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Yeah, moving right along. These same people find the time to invest in something that is not going to reap rewards or benefit, but is a part of their lie. The lie is attracting the wrong people instead of working on self to better their position. You have some people that take up classes that they're never going to attend. You got some that buy materials but never build that next best thing. I'm not going to lie, and I can relate, because right now I'm taking up a course, and part of me does not want to attend because I attend one day and the professor was very boring that my mind started wandering. However, I intend to stick it out some kind of how, because it's an investment. I don't want you all to be that person that's putting your lie and other interests before what matters. That's a false investment. So here is the challenge. Whatever you have tried but stop, pick it back up. And you are going to throw out the garbage. The garbage is the lie you tell yourself, being lazy, judgment. One of the biggest critics lies within us. Judgment. All those excuses. Throw out procrastination, rejection. Yeah. There are days I don't want to do the podcast, and I'm going to be honest, because I have a lot on my plate, and that's not an excuse. That's facts. Like, I have valid excuses. Some days it's a spiritual battle. Some days I'm yawning and all, but I throw out the excuses. Why? Because I would literally feel like trash if I let the devil stop me from doing what I do, being my greatest. I am living God's narrative. Yep, I'm living God's narrative. What I could say is that when you in a spiritual battle, going through stuff, you get real pissed that the devil find all his time to waste your time. The devil can burn and sizzle for all I care. Anyway, stop living by false investments. You owe it to yourself to invest in yourself. And another thing, well, a few. I noticed that anytime I pay for something or sign up for something, I don't like to waste stuff, so I stick it out. Like I said, this course that I'm taking. That's number one. Number two, you don't have to be perfect. Remember that. I have to remember that. Your uniqueness is in your DNA. God designed that. Number three, figure out what you want to do. Number four, don't try to compete with people. I always say that. Number five, once you start, tell yourself you cannot turn back. So that way, you will have no choice but to move forward. And that's it. Invest in yourself. Investing in you starts with you, and the rest will follow. This is one of those things that makes you valuable. For a one-on-one session, go to my website, seriouslyfocusedjohnnie.com. Check me out on YouTube, like, subscribe, and click the notification. Check out my store. For suggested topics, email me, sfj.peace@gmail.com. Oh, and the downloadable document is coming up soon. I'm just getting it edited and trying to work some things out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little behind schedule, trying to do a lot. And that's it. So love me more and I love you more. Have a blessed week, y'all. Later.